Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the regular meeting of the Taos County Board of County Commissioners for Tuesday, October 17th, 2023. It is now 9:05 a.m., and we will get started with our meeting. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Romero?
Present.
Commissioner Vihil?
Present.
Commissioner Mascareñas?
Present.
Vice Chair Romero?
Present.
Chair Brush?
Present. Thank you very much. It's good to see everybody this morning. For our agenda item number 3, our inspirational devotion, I just want to take a moment. Our community has so many folks who contribute so very much. My own neighborhood last week lost one of our, I'm just going to say he was a rock star, Mr. Bolivar Quintana, who was 88 years old, passed away. He was a veteran. He was part of the El Salto Land Association. But what I want to particularly call out is that he was a leader, if not the leader, in establishing our Mutual Domestic Water Association. So today, almost 50 years later, almost 100 families have water to their home because of Mr. Bolivar Quintana's leadership. He served on that board for many, many years, and he's a beloved part of our community. And I just want to open it up to others who might also be reflecting this morning on people who have made contributions to your neighborhood, to your neck of the woods, to our community in general.
Yes, Madam
Mr.
Chair, I'd
Romero.
like to mention Sammy Hammer, who passed away this past week, resident of Ranchos, longtime school district employee and great Tiger fan. Just a moment of silence for him.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Before we have a moment of silence, would anyone else like to add a name to our roster of heroes?
Yeah, Barbara Baca just passed away recently from the town of Llano de San Juan, and condolences to her and her family. And
Thank you, Commissioner Mascareñas. Let's take a moment of silence and reflect on these heroes in our community. Thank you, everybody. Moving on our agenda, if you would please stand with us for items 4 and 5, and Commissioner Vihil will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Commissioner Mascareñas, would you please lead us in the salute to the flag of New Mexico?
I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico as the symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures.
Thank you, everybody. This takes us to agenda item 6, which is approval of our agenda. Commissioners, what are your wishes?
Move to approve.
Thank you. We have a motion from Commissioner Vihil. Is there a second?
second,
Thank you, Commissioner Mascareñas. Madam Clerk, if you could please call the vote.
Commissioner Romero? Commissioner Vihil?
Yes.
Commissioner Mascareñas?
yes,
Vice Chair Romero?
Yes,
Chair Brush?
Yes, thank you very much. And this takes us to item 7 on our agenda, which is public comment. For public comment, after we hear from folks in the room, please call in to 575-737-6310 if you're watching us online. Members of the public have 3 minutes to talk about what's on their mind. No action can be taken by us, and we actually can't get into back and forth answering questions or getting into a dialogue, because when we do that, we need to publish that that's an agenda item 72 hours in advance per state law. But we will listen. We listen carefully, and we then follow up as needed. So if you are in the room, if you would please pick who gets to go first and approach the podium. I'll raise the phone when your 3 minutes are up. And just please tell us who you are and where you live. No, if you could please just make sure that if there's
Okay.
screen.
Here we
Okay.
go.
For the people online, it's easier for them to hear.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. My name is Joanna McGee. I've lived in Taos County for about 20 years, and I've raised my family here. I'm going to discuss the county's apparent difficulty meeting its legal responsibility for animal control and disposition, and by extension, animal sheltering, under the state statute 77-1-12. The first line of which reads, each municipality and each county shall make provision by ordinance for the seizure and disposition of dogs and cats running at large. I am deeply concerned about the animal welfare implications of this failure to provide. I am deeply concerned about the public safety, the child safety, and about livestock safety if the county's legal obligation is unmet. I am deeply concerned about the possible liability risk to the county and taxpayer dollars if this deficit poses. I urge the commissioners to take the county's current and future inability to meet its legal obligations extremely seriously, urgently consider its options, and develop a viable, sustainable plan to share publicly that will adequately fulfill its responsibilities. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McGee. Anybody else in the room? Yes, please come forward.
Good morning. I'm Peter Selzer, District 1. I know some of you from our prior interactions. I also want to speak today about the situation of animal welfare in the county. As you understand, the county does have responsibility for animal welfare, Animal Control Ordinance 2015-1. And as you are well aware, there's also a serious animal welfare crisis in the county right now because of the fact that Stray Hearts is refusing to take in any stray or surrendered animals. Animals now roam the streets, sometimes in packs. And if they're starving or otherwise abused, they present a possible danger to county residents. This will only worsen as winter approaches. To help mitigate the problem, the sheriff has proposed to set up a very restricted emergency shelter at the old armory. This proposal is strongly supported by animal welfare groups in the county. The shelter is designed to take in only dangerous dogs in domestic abuse situations, or dogs whose owners have died. This was first suggested in early July, just after the contract ended, and it was supposed to be functional by the end of August. But unfortunately, it is still not open. Once operational, this emergency shelter will certainly not solve the animal welfare problem, but will help save animal lives and will protect county residents. A couple of weeks ago, I had the opportunity to view this emergency shelter. I toured it with Penny Wardlow. In order for the armory to serve as an emergency shelter that is safe for both dogs and human caretakers, it requires certain improvements to be made. It needs running water in the shelter area, floor drainage in the shelter area for sanitation, and outside fencing, since the animals cannot be full-time confined indoors. There also needs to be adequate heat and adequate electrical outlets for equipment such as fans. The current allocated space can accommodate approximately 20 dogs, but the sheriff wants to keep it to 10 as a start. Winter is fast approaching, and there will be animals freezing and starving within the county unless emergency measures are taken quickly. There's a large core of volunteers, myself and my wife included, who are willing to assist in running the emergency shelter, but leadership must be provided by the sheriff or his designee. We ask you, county commissioners, to place a high priority on addressing the needs for a safe, functional emergency shelter as a first step in solving this severe problem, one that directly or indirectly affects the well-being of all Taos County residents.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning. My name is Maria Gracia Selzer. I live in Ranchos de Taos. I will be reading a statement written by the individual bitten by a dog on the 5th of this month in Taos County. So obviously this is about animal welfare as well. She contemplated legal action to recoup her medical expenses, but she said she is an animal lover and hopes that the county learns from this incident. The county may not be so fortunate if someone else gets bitten by a dog. Her statement reads, On a beautiful fall afternoon, my partner and I decided to hop on our bikes and go for a ride along the back roads away from traffic. We happened on El Tros Road in Talpa. We saw some dogs ahead, as in the past, I rode past them without making eye contact. They started chasing my bike, and one of the three grabbed onto my ankle. I got off my bike and put it between me and the dogs. When my partner arrived shortly after, they went into the yard and continued to bark. We asked the folks who were in the yard next door if they knew whose dogs they were, and they said they did not and were sorry for what had just happened. We took photos of the dogs and yard and called 911. We were directed to animal control via the 911 operator. We were contacted by animal control, who took our statement and asked if we had photos. They indicated that there had been issues in this area and that no one claimed ownership or responsibility for these dogs. We were also told by animal control agent that she could not take the dog for quarantine because they no longer had a contract with Stray Hearts and there was no place for the dog to go. On the advice of my personal doctor, I went to the emergency room where I was given a tetanus shot and was told that rabies had not been in the area since the 1970s. I was sent home with a prescription for antibiotics in case my leg was to get infected. The dog is still loose in that area. In sharing this event with local folks, we found outrage and a sense of resignation that this is how things are and that you take your life into your hands to go on a bike ride. I have a hard time accepting this as our reality and hope that by sharing my story, ideas can emerge as to how we can solve this complex issue in animal and human welfare as a community. Thank you. And this was written by Betty Arts. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody else in the room who would like to make a comment? Yes, please.
Good morning. Thank you for having me today. Thank you for having this platform. My name is Holly Summerberries, and I come from Taos Pueblo. I work with the Taos Pueblo Victims of Crime. I come to you today as an invitation for Taos County to participate in our 8th annual I Will Run for Them Domestic Violence Awareness Run. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and Taos Pueblo is hosting this run along with the Coalition to Stop Violence Against Native Women. They're based out of Albuquerque, but this is to honor the survivors, to support the families who have been impacted by domestic violence, whether they were the victim themselves or a witness to it, or just have knowledge about a family member or friend who has gone through that. So we would like to invite you to come to Taos Pueblo. The event is this Saturday. I did bring some flyers. We will begin with some opening remarks. I did invite the town mayor, and I did speak to Mr. Jaramillo at a meet and greet, and he asked me to come today to present this as an invitation to all of you. I know that we do share borders with the county and the Pueblo. The Pueblo seeks out services from the county, but I really come to ask that. Thank you. That the community, we all have a responsibility to care for our community, whether it be for family, friends, lands, water, or animals, as is spoken here. And it's up to each of us to make a difference. Community togetherness enables us to help each other in a way that we can't as individuals, and we should encourage those who need assistance to please reach out to somebody for help so that they never have to go through anything alone. Another barrier in our community and other areas of this nation is that codependency is an addiction in itself. In domestic violence situations, many times the victim will endure a toxic relationship because of the lack of housing opportunities, and especially the flexibility of childcare so that one may succeed at employment. We must all work together to either expand or enhance services for victims and families and enforce policies to be stringent against offenders. We do have the family of Miss Deanna Suazo, who will be speaking at this event. If you don't know who she is, please take a look at her or look her up online. She was a beautiful artist, a beautiful girl, and her face is on the Rio Grande Hall at the UNM Center on Civic Plaza Drive. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Summerberry. Can I just ask what time the event
The
starts?
registration is from 8 to 9, and I guess the opening is at about 9 o'clock. It should end around noon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else in the room before we open the phone lines? And I'll just add one comment. We've heard from folks about animal welfare. Comment is just simply, Taos County does take our obligations seriously. We are committed to working together with leaders in the community, stakeholders in the community, to create solutions to what we see as a crisis. So we are committed to working to solve that. We actually have plans to have some of those conversations working in more of a collaborative brainstorming session toward what we can do for our community. So we hear you. We absolutely hear you. At this point, I'm going to take the phone off of Do Not Disturb. So if you're listening online and you'd like to call in and talk to us for 3 minutes, please call 575-737-6310. 575-737-6310. Okay, one last time, 575-737-6310. If you'd like to share your thoughts with us, keep the line open for another few seconds, and then we'll move along. Okay. Put it back on Do Not Disturb, and we'll move on to agenda item 8, which is minutes. We have 3 sets of minutes to approve this morning. First, 8A, approval of the September 19th, 2023 regular meeting minutes. Commissioners.
Madam Chair, motion to approve.
Thank you, Vice Chair Romero. I'll go ahead and second that. Madam Clerk, if you could please call for the vote.
Commissioner Romero,
Yes.
Commissioner Vehil,
Yes.
Commissioner Mascareñas,
Yes.
Vice Chair Romero,
Yes.
Chair Brush.
Yes, thank you very much. 8B is approval of the September 22nd, 2023 special meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Commissioner Romero. Is there a second? I'll go ahead and second that. Madam Clerk, could you please call the vote?
Commissioner Romero,
Yes.
Commissioner Vehil,
Yes.
Commissioner Mascareñas,
Yes.
Vice Chair Romero,
Yes.
Chair Brush.
Yes, thank you very much. 8C is approval of the October 3, 2023 regular meeting minutes, and I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve with one edit on page 2, line 74. Ms. Flor Cerna, her first name is Flor rather than Flora. So with that amendment, is there a second?
Second.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, could you please call the vote?
Commissioner Romero,
Yes.
Commissioner Vehil,
Yes.
Commissioner Mascareñas,
Yes.
Vice Chair Romero,
Yes.
Chair Brush.
Yes. All right, thank you very much. This takes us to agenda item 9, resolutions and ordinances. 9A, it's discussion only regarding a draft resolution supporting the New Mexico County's 2024 legislative priorities. And this morning, I believe Mr. Brent Jaramillo, our county manager, will present this for us.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you. We received an email last week from New Mexico counties asking us to consider passing the attached resolution. All the other 33 counties are being asked to pass a similar resolution. So I placed this on the commission meeting to see if these are the areas that we'd also want to support the New Mexico counties and our fellow counties on as well. House Bill 2 is, and also if Commissioner Vehil wants to jump in as our representative on the New Mexico County's board, please feel free to do so. Under House Bill 2, the Detention Reimbursement Fund, this is something we talked about lots of times, that we don't get our fair share of funding back from the state when we're housing state detainees in our facility that are either awaiting to go to the Department of Corrections, or they're here coming from a Department of Corrections for a court date, and then we're fitting the transportation cost and the housing cost. So we're asking that the counties be made whole with the actual cost of housing these state inmates. Then the other one is the Detention Recruitment and Retention Fund. This is also looking to put $10 million into funding a recruitment and retention fund similar to what the sheriff's office has, or the other law enforcement agencies across the state, because there's a sufficient number of detentions. There's not a sufficient number of detention staff. So we're looking to fund it through a recruitment and retention fund. And so that's what that's about. And then there's the prisoner transportation extradition. Again, is to have funding for a DFA that's going to pay for the cost of moving state prisoners to a state facility to and from. A lot of that falls back on our sheriff's office. And so we put the bill for that. And then there's also funding for the RISE program, which stands for Reach, Intervene, Support, and Engage. This has to deal with behavioral health. And for EMS funding, and Chief Cordova can certainly tell you that there's not enough funding for EMS services, and they've gone under funded for several years, and this is something not new. And then the current state appropriations and taxes are collected through local GRT and other sources of revenue, but they're not sufficient to support local governments. EMS services is vital to New Mexico. I don't know if you have anything to add to that, Chief. And then the next one is courthouse funding. Again, we're asking the legislature to put some money to match what the district courthouses do. Is we fund the bill for district court, the district attorney's office, the magistrate court. For sometimes they do receive capital outlay to make modifications to their buildings, to their facilities. Other times we're taking on that responsibility. So it's another unfunded mandate. As example, a few years ago, the screening system went down, the x-ray screening, and we had to foot the bill for that. I think District Court 8 did come up with some funding after the fact, but we were having to fit that bill by ourselves. This elected officials salary increase, this would affect any of our commissioners or countywide elected officials running, if they run next year, and if this passes, that they would get a consumer price index increase, and they were coming up with a mechanism to move it based on CPI. And then the firefighter retention and recruitment fund, this is similar to what I talked about with detention. And as Chief Cordova can tell you, it's we're basically a volunteer system. We need our calls are up, and the chief's going to go over that a little bit later today, but we need to find a recruitment and retention fund. We're also trying to think outside the box and coming up with stipends as well. And I'm sure the chief will add on to that a little bit, but ourselves, we're trying to think outside the box. So yeah, these are what New Mexico counties is asking us to consider. Commissioner Vihil, I don't know if there's anything that you want to add.
Yes, please. Actually, and Brett, you did a great job of breaking that down. If you will recall, commissioners, I brought this to your attention actually when I reported out, and these were the topics. Of course, I didn't go into detail as such, but I will say that the board of directors, which is comprised of elected officials throughout New Mexico, and majority, if not all, this is the priority list that we all came up with. So it is a combined list of concerns, and you can see that by looking at this, 33 counties are basically dealing with the same issues. So I would ask in the near future that we bring it back for approval.
Thank you, Commissioner Behill. Appreciate your added comments to this. Commissioners, any questions or comments for either Brent or Commissioner Behill? Okay, seeing none, thank you. Thank you, Manager Jaramillo, for that
We'll have
presentation.
it for approval at the next commission meeting.
Okay, thank you. This leads us to item 9B. And if folks are listening online, I'm not sure if anyone is, if you hear the dinging in the background, we are sharing the space with voting this morning. Don't forget to vote. We like to share the space with this because, you know, go democracy. So everyone listening, watching, come on in and vote. Item 9B, discussion, consideration, and decision regarding the approval of resolution number 2023-45, which is a joint resolution between Taos County and Picoris Pueblo, extending the Penasco Volunteer Fire District to the Pueblo of Picoris. And with us this morning, we have our Fire Chief for Taos County, Mr. Mike Cordova. Good morning, Chief.
Good morning, Chair. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. How are you? Thank you for being here.
Good morning, other commissioners. Appreciate you all being here. So this has been a process for about 8 to 9 months. The Pueblo of Picoris reached out and asked what they can do to provide services for their area in our southern portion of the county. So we went back and forth with them and the State Fire Marshal's office, and the best thing we figured out that would benefit everybody and kind of get the ball moving is to just combine the Penasco Fire District with the Picoris Pueblo. So in the resolution, you guys see that they already have a building, they have some equipment. They will deed that to us, and that way we can take over the maintenance of the building and apparatus through Penasco Fire Department's fire fund, which Chief Saad gets about $125,000 a year, which is actually very well. It's very good. Now with the addition to this, he will get another main station, so he'll get an additional $43,000, I think, for his budget. So he'll be sitting pretty good with money. So we figured this would just be the easiest. The governor is all for it. They just passed their resolution, I believe it was yesterday, for this. If you guys do approve this, I will send it to the State Fire Marshal's office. They'll come up, do an inspection, and give us their blessing. And then from there, we just move forward. They do have an active roster of about 10 to 12 people already on the Picoris side. So that'll be adding to the Penasco fire numbers. And we also have one individual that's really helping us out with paperwork and training and stuff for that end of the county. So I think it's a great idea. It's a long time coming, and I'd appreciate your support on this one.
Thank you very much, Chief. Commissioners, questions, comments?
Just a comment?
Yes, Commissioner Behill.
Another great example of collaboration. So thank you very much for bringing this forward.
Yes, ma'am.
It's a good way of collaborating and extending our resources to do more, right?
Absolutely.
Any further comments or questions for Chief Cordova? Okay, then I would entertain a motion to approve resolution number 2023-45, a joint resolution between Taos County and Picoris Pueblo to extend the Penasco Volunteer Fire District to the Pueblo of Picoris.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Commissioner Mascareñas. Is there a second?
A second.
Thank you, Miguel. Madam Clerk, would you please call the vote?
Commissioner Romero?
Yes.
Commissioner Behill?
Yes.
Commissioner Mascareñas?
Yes.
Vice Chair Romero?
Yes.
Chair Brush?
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll see you back in a few.
Thank you. Okay, item 9C is discussion, consideration, and decision regarding the approval of resolution number 2023-46, a resolution amending the joint partnership agreement, the JPA, of the Enchanted Circle Council of Governments, also known as the ECOG. Brent, are you going to take this one? Thank you.
Commissioner Commissioner Brush may jump in as well. We're asked to pass this resolution because we're going to amend the joint powers agreement for the Enchanted Circle Council of Governments. This is to include Taos Pueblo. They were never asked to participate over the course of the last year. They have been asked to participate, and they have been attending the meetings. And this is also to clarify the participation by Colfax County as well. So the town of Taos has asked that we pass this resolution to make the necessary changes to include Taos Pueblo and the changes for Colfax County.
Thank you, Brent. Very clearly explained. Commissioners, any questions or comments about this resolution?
Actually, I have a couple of questions.
Vice Chair Romero, yeah.
Does ICOG operate under the Open Meetings Act?
It does.
Okay. And so how is it, how are the meetings run? Is there a chairman elected every annual basis or?
It has typically been the mayor of the town of Taos who runs it, and then their clerk, the town of Taos clerk, sends out the agenda to comply with the Open Meetings Act. Brent, anything else you
Right.
want to add?
So within the joint powers agreement, it's been designated that each municipal mayor is the voting member and their manager or administrator will vote if the mayor or the chairperson for the county commission is not present. Then if Commissioner Brush does not attend the meeting, then I will vote on her behalf or in the county's behalf. And then I would make quorum if Commissioner Brush is not present at the meeting.
So does the chair position rotate?
It conceivably, it could rotate. It hasn't. Mayor Baroni was probably chair for 2 years. And then Mayor Maestas took this up as well last year when he took office. And then so conceivably it could change.
May I add that, if I
Yes,
may,
Commissioner Beal. Yeah.
that Mayor Calhoun is the vice chair? And so you just don't get a lot of folks wanting to, or that have time to really initiate or put it all together. So I think that's why we're seeing the repeat. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. Good question. Any other questions or comments about this item? Okay, then I would entertain a motion to approve resolution number 2023-46 to amend the JPA of the ECOG. Thank you. We have a motion from Commissioner Romero. I'll go ahead and second that. Madam Clerk, if you could please call the vote.
Commissioner Romero?
Yes.
Commissioner Vehil?
Yes?
Commissioner Mascarenhas?
Yes.
Vice Chair Romero?
Yes.
Chair Brush?
Yes. All right, thank you. The resolution's approved. Agenda item 10 is contracts, agreements, MOUs, and bids. And we have, first of all, item 10A, discussion, consideration, and decision regarding the acceptance and approval of the Department of Finance and Administration grant appropriation number 23-ZH5048-89 to hire law enforcement and/or support positions. And with us this morning, we have our grants administrator, Ms. Lori Montoya. Good morning.
Good morning. Madam
Good to
Chair,
see you.
Commissioners. So today I'm bringing forward this grant agreement. We've already received one for the sheriff's office and we're working on that one currently. This is a new one that's been allocated to us and it's in the amount of $393,750. And this reversion date is 6/30 of 2024. So we really need to act on this one very quickly. And I ask for approval.
Thank you very much. Questions? Commissioner Vehil?
Yes, just, I'm sorry if someone mentioned this earlier and I just didn't catch it in a prior meeting because I know we've seen this before. The funding this is to recruit or retain, correct?
Yes.
And what happens?
Just to,
Oh.
this funding is particularly just to recruit. This isn't to retain. So this one changed from last year. So we still have last year's grant that's in place. And that one's changed to just recruiting also. So we can't use the funding to retain anymore.
Right, because we wouldn't have that reoccurring, and that was my
Right.
question. So
Yeah.
that just, thank you for clarifying.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for the question. Good question. Any other questions or comments about this one? Okay, then we can entertain a motion to approve the acceptance and approval of Department of Finance Administration Grant Appropriation Number 23-ZH5048-89 to hire law enforcement and/or support positions. Is there a motion?
Madam Chair, motion to approve.
Thank you, Vice Chair Romero. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Vehil. Madam Clerk, if you could please call for the vote.
Commissioner Romero,
Yes.
Commissioner Vehil,
Yes.
Commissioner Mascarenhas,
Yes.
Vice Chair Romero,
Yes.
Chair Brush.
Yes, you're all set. Thank you very much. Item 10B is discussion, consideration, and decision regarding the approval of a memorandum of agreement, an MOA, to amending the town of Taos, the village of Taos Ski Valley, the village of Angel Fire, the village of Eagle Nest, the town of Red River, the village of Cuesta, the county of Taos, the county of Colfax, the county of Mora, and the county of Rio Arriba for the creation of the Enchanted Circle Regional Fire Protection Association. And we have back with us again our Chief Cordova. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So what this is just brought it back up to all our local governing bodies. It hadn't been looked at in about 10 years. So we had to change some wording on it. Town of Taos was our fiscal agent for this, and we moved it now to the town of Red River. Our goal is to pay dues each year, and what we want to do with those dues is to improve our training tower that we have, and also the burn building, stuff like that, but also send any volunteer that's with the Enchanted Circle out to training, so help supplement whatever the county or municipality may give them for training dollars. We would pay their room or something of that nature, give them extra spending money. So it's a good thing. It's been around for quite a while, since before me, obviously, but it's worked out very well. We have a strong group, and this group is going to be pretty proactive in the bill for recruitment and retention through the state. So it's a strong group. Just looking for your approval on this one.
Thank you, Chief. And thank you for the focus on training, like that burn building and the tower. It's quite impressive. And it makes us, I think, all feel pretty good that our teams out there are so thoroughly prepared. So thank you very much. Commissioners, comments or questions?
I have
Commissioner
a
Vehil?
question. So number 15 under appropriations, where it says this contract is contingent upon there being sufficient funds available for county to appropriate funds to make payments pursuant to this contract. Are you talking about the fees that you just described? Is that what?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Other than that, there is no other contribution?
No, and what we're going to do is either take those out of fire fund or the fire excise tax. I have to talk to the fire marshal's office to see if it's an allowable expense to fire fund, which it should be. So it'll be either one of those two funds that each district department will pay.
Great, thank you.
Thank you for the question. Any further questions or comments for our fire chief? No. Okay, then I will entertain a motion to approve memorandum of agreement with all of the listed entities. Is there, we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Thank you very much. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you both. Madam Clerk, if you could please call for the vote.
Commissioner Romero,
Yes.
Commissioner Vehil,
Yes.
Commissioner Mascarenhas,
Yes.
Vice Chair Romero,
Yes.
Chair Brush.
Yes, thank you very much. Taos County has approved this MOA. Thank you, Chief.
Awesome.
Item 10C is, we're sticking with Chief Cordova. Discussion, consideration, and decision regarding the approval of the Enchanted Circle EMS Cooperative Agreement authorizing cooperative interagency assistance in conjunction with the Enchanted Circle Fire and EMS Mobilization Guide.
So this is pretty much kind of the same thing as the one up top. This is just the EMS version. So what this is if any of our EMS crews are already out on a call, we can have, and I'll take Cuesta, for example, we can have Red River move up and cover, or the county. And for Red River, it would be Cuesta or the village of Eagle Nest, and kind of just goes that way, if you will. So this has been around probably for about 15 or 16 years, and it's the same thing. They looked it over, had to change some stuff, but it's a good thing. Again, we try to keep everybody covered as much as we can with short staffing and whatnot. But yeah, I look for approval.
Appreciate that. Appreciate, again, as Commissioner Vehil mentioned earlier, the collaboration to keep our community safe. So thank you. Commissioners, any questions or comments on this cooperative agreement?
Move to approve.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the Enchanted Circle EMS Cooperative Agreement. Madam Clerk, would you please call for the vote?
Commissioner Romero,
Yes.
Commissioner Vehil,
Yes.
Commissioner Mascarenhas,
Yes.
Vice Chair Romero,
Yes.
Chair Brush.
Yes.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
We'll see you in a little bit.
All right, thank you, Chief. Appreciate your work. Agenda item 11 is our consent agenda. We have before us items A through G. Does anyone want to pull any of these items for discussion or questions?
Madam Chair, I don't want to pull any item, but I wonder if we could get maybe a little bit more elaboration on, I mean, it seems like a number of different roads, and what are we actually doing? We're just establishing a fund balance for what to happen.
Is there a specific one that you're looking at? Because we would then
Well,
pull it from the consent in
yeah,
order
let's
to
just
have
say
that
the
discussion.
E is a random one. What road is it and what?
Item B, is there
what
any
are we
other,
actually
is there
doing?
any other one, Commissioner Romero?
No, I think
Okay, so I think that what I'm hearing is to pull item 11B from the consent agenda for questions and discussion.
yeah. Did you say E? or-
B or E?
I was saying E because
E,
I'm more
okay,
interested
sorry.
in the roads. Yeah.
E, yep. Item 11E, we have a motion to pull item 11E from the consent agenda. I'm going to take that as a motion. Is there a second?
Second?
Thank you, Commissioner Vihil. Madam Clerk, would you please call the vote to remove item 11E from our consent agenda?
Commissioner Romero,
Yes.
Commissioner Vehil,
Yes.
Commissioner Mascareñas,
Yes.
Vice Chair Romero,
Yes.
Chair Brush.
Yes. Okay, so we will now consider the consent agenda items A, B, C, D, F, and G. I would entertain a motion to approve those items. So the consent agenda as presented minus item E as an egg.
So moved.
Thank you, Vice Chair Romero. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Mascareñas. Madam Clerk, please call for the vote.
Commissioner Romero,
Yes.
Commissioner Vehil,
Yes.
Commissioner Mascareñas,
Yes.
Vice Chair Romero,
Yes.
Chair Brush.
Yes. So consent agenda item 11, A, B, C, D, F, and G are now approved. And we'll go ahead and then handle 11E, which is approval of DFA Resolution Number 7, 2023-24 FY Final Budget, a resolution requesting to establish fund or budget for LGRF Fund D19707 for construction and rehabilitation of miscellaneous county roads in Taos County. Ms. Elsa V. Hill is here to address this.
Hi,
Good morning.
good morning, Chairman. Ms. Roland Sanelli is a little bit busy with the auditors right now. In regards to this DFA resolution, these are the 3 new LGRF agreements that we have in place. These will also go towards the Blueberry Hill Road project. These were given to me at late June, early July, and unfortunately, because I was so busy with final budget and everything else, it was an oversight on my end. And as we're preparing to get these funds ready into the fund and budget expenditures at this time, I had to place them on the agenda because I noticed no fund and budget was established for these 3 new agreements that were approved back in June.
Okay, thank you. Vice Chair Romero, did that address your questions about this item?
So what essentially you're doing is establishing, or you're making a moving funds and within the budget to establish this money, make it available for what?
So right now, these 3 funds, the cap co-op and school bus route, which are listed on the consent agenda, these funds are all grouped together, but they're separate agreements. And these will be set up to be used in the Blueberry Hill project that we're currently having in place now that we're trying to get moving forward. These are just to establish a new fund and budget because nothing was placed in the final budget at the time that it was established. So I have to go this route in order to put the monies in there for us to
So
expend.
it's a routine process you go
Yes.
through to actually
Yes.
make it
Yes, it
happen.
is.
Okay.
All clear? Okay, thank you, Vice Chair Romero. Any further questions or comments about this item? Okay, then I would entertain a motion to approve item 11E, approval of DFA Resolution Number 7, 2023-2024 FY Final Budget, requesting to establish the fund or budget for LGRF Fund D19707 for construction and rehabilitation of miscellaneous county roads in Taos County.
So moved.
Thank you, Vice Chair Romero. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Mascareñas. Madam Clerk, would you please call the vote?
Commissioner Romero, Commissioner Vehil,
Yes.
Commissioner Mascareñas,
Yes.
Vice Chair Romero,
Yes.
Chair Brush.
Yes, so 11E is also approved. Thank you, everybody. This takes us to item 12 on our agenda, County Manager's Reports and Matters. 12A is update to the County Commission on various items affecting Taos County. We have Mr. Jaramillo, our County Manager, back at the podium.
All right. Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the commission. As Ms. Hill mentioned, our internal auditors, Cordova CPA, did arrive yesterday about 10:30, 11, and they are here for the entire week. We had an audit entrance conference that consisted of the chair, Vice Chair Romero, myself, Mr. Madrid, Ms. Vihil, Ms. Rawlson Elliott, Treasurer Santisteban, and her Chief Deputy Miranda. And we met with Mr. Cordova. We went over what this year's process would be, which is very similar in nature to last year. And the audit report is due to the Office of the State Auditor on December 1st. So we're looking at the end of November to have an exit conference. So from now till they complete the report, they'll be working with the county to audit any necessary documents. It is done by samples, so they don't audit every transaction, but it's sample based. So they'll also be auditing the revenues in the treasurer's office, the expenditures, payroll that comes through finance and the accounts payable process. And they'll also audit our human resource files as well. And so we're very familiar with Cordova CPA, and like I said, they'll be here for the remainder of the week, and they'll be working on Taos County from now till submission of the audit report. And the next thing is, and Mr. Zaragoza will give us his quarterly report in a future meeting, but I wanted to mention that we have done the upgrades with the Esri licensing at dispatch, so our dispatchers are seeing better pictures, better graphics, and so it's going to be a lot more helpful for law enforcement and for fire and EMS. And it was something that Mr. Silva and Mr. Zaragoza have been working on over the last couple of months, along with Eric from the planning department, and Assessor Dimas did work with us because we're changing the licensing to have one master license, and then we're going to assign the different licenses out to the different departments as well. So the next thing I have is Taos Housing Partnership. Ms. O'Brien, I sat down with her 2 weeks ago today after our last regular scheduled commission meeting. I also sat down with her consultant, Jen Lopez, and they were asking that they provided us a scope of work that they want to help the county on. This would be within my authority, but I also wanted to bring it back to the commission. It kind of it's up to 58,000. So it's the scope of work is broken down into two programs. Is establish a countywide homebuyer training and counseling service initiative. The county would provide the seed funds to develop the first year of this pilot program, and this would be done through Taos Housing Partnership. They would engage a third-party consultant similar to an organization called HomeWise. HomeWise, this is their service territory, but they're not coming into the Taos County area. And so we'd engage a third-party consultant that is HUD certified to deliver classes and counseling, and a counseling program. And this estimated cost is up to $25,000. So this third-party consultant would meet with our residents that want to know about the different home buying programs that are out there with under Mortgage Finance Authority or whatever other programs there may be. The second portion of this is to assist the county with implementation of their housing efforts. this would be to, we've been talking about properties that the county owns that could be developed for housing. And so this other portion of the scope of work would include working with the county on that as well. So our other thing is, and you have this in the calendar that Anissa sent out, is the Carson National Forest is sponsoring a partnership workshop on November 14th through the 17th. And let me double check that. Okay, so I encourage the commission to attend that. You don't have to attend all 3 days, but if you can, be greatly appreciated. This is discussions on water, trail system, and so other acequia associations have been invited. I've seen the invitation list, so any of the key stakeholders should be invited. I'm not sure if they've invited El Valle or El Prado, but I know the acequia systems have been invited as well.
Where's that happening?
It's going to be at the Sagebrush Inn. And then so as and the invitations haven't gone out to that. And so the county, myself, and the chair have been participating in the resilient communities. Mona here from Ski Valley Inc., her coworkers have also participated in that as well. So for the event that's going to happen in the plaza for Halloween, we will be participating with the Resilient Communities Coalition. And by the way, we've had 2 meetings so far with, so this is an organization that LORE, Kit Carson Electric, the town of Taos, the hospital, the Ski Valley, and UNM, Taos Municipal School Districts are partners in this group as well. This group is taking on projects designed to increase the ability to handle various aspects of the climate crisis. And the first quick project is going to be delivering energy efficient light bulbs. We're getting those from, I'm not sure if we're getting them from Kit Carson or where, but our logo will be placed on there as well as we hand out these light bulbs that are energy efficient as well at the Halloween event. I don't know if you want to add on anything, Chair.
I will add, it's the generosity of the Lower Foundation that is providing the funds to purchase that. And Kit Carson has been very instrumental in helping to procure those locally. So it's just a kind of a quick hit, and there'll be a sheet with all of the participating organizations and just a short handful of energy efficient tips to get folks ready for winter. And then like Brent said, there's only been 2 meetings so far of this kind of very kind of grassroots coming together coalition. The next one is November, I want to say 17th. It's that Wednesday or Thursday. And I encourage any of us, it's a very collaborative, like, let's just brainstorm to see what we can do. What are the projects we want to work on? If anyone else is interested in joining in any of kind of like the project teams that are forming, or that meeting to hear what the project teams are doing, I definitely encourage you to come. It's another example of collaboration in our community. Commissioner Beal.
Yes. So what is it called again?
It's right now, it's just being called the Resilient Communities Coalition. I think it's not an official.
And is it geared around just when you think of that topic, are we talking about just light bulbs and I mean, I guess what I'm getting at is, because there's some other topics that I think need to be dealt with community-wide.
Yeah.
And I don't know that it would necessarily fall in here, but one of the things I keep on bringing up is the illegal dumping, because I think it's all connected somehow.
Absolutely.
And so wondering if that is
Absolutely.
a place for that.
It could very well be. I mean, because it is all connected. It's all about like the health and safety of our air, our land, our water, and ourselves, right? So that topic that I know you're focused on is very much a good fit for this. But it's not just about light bulbs, it's not just about buildings, it's about education and communication, and how we move forward together in an efficient way to just deal with the fact that like things are changing out there and we need to be prepared. So that would absolutely, I would encourage you to come to the next one if you like.
And you did say it's an event, correct? That's going to happen, or this
Well-
like
The Halloween event.
Okay.
But I think the commissioner is asked for the next meeting. I've asked Mr. Santisteban to move the meeting on the 17th because the same stakeholders are getting invited to the
To the Carson.
event.
True.
So I'm not sure. He was going to take it back to his core team. So when I was out on bereavement leave, I saw the thing come through and I let Mr. Santisteban know that hey, you might want to reschedule this. And then I sent him the information from the Carson because you're not going to be able to get the Carson to reschedule. It's easier to reschedule the Resilient Communities Group.
Halloween event, meaning the town of Taos, Halloween event? Yep,
Right.
okay, that's, thank you.
And again, that is just like a very quick, like what can we do in the short term that is like helpful in raising awareness, at least getting the effort in front of folks, because there will be a lot of folks there coming through and they'll get a free light bulb and a tip sheet with reflecting all of the collaborators so far. And I'm happy to share with you the kind of like the initial projects that the group decided on in the last meeting. But I would hope that you would come to the next one whenever, November 17th or another time, and participate. That'd be awesome. Thank you. Brent, anything else on your list?
Yeah, a few more things. So with that being said about the resilient communities, just a reminder, the chair and myself will be leaving after the meeting to the Climate Solutions Summit. So we'll be hearing a lot of these different topics. And so we'll be leaving to Colorado after this. And so on Monday, and I asked Mr. Trujillo to participate because when the topic gets thrown out about legal responsibilities, and our attorneys have provided us a memorandum in the past regarding our legal responsibilities regarding animal sheltering. So we will be having met with Ms. Penny Wardlow last week, asked about doing an animal sheltering meeting. Wanted the conversation to be with the county alone, and I said no. The town has to be part of the solution, and even for that, even the village of Cuesta needs to be part of the solution because they need to find a place to take their animals as well. So since the commission chambers is being used for early voting, I asked the mayor and Manager Gonzalez if we could use a room at the town. So the sheriff will be present and Miss Wardlow will be bringing other folks, maybe some of the folks that were sitting in the room. I left it up to the town to invite their police chief to that meeting as well. So we're going to have that meeting 10:30 next week. I think there needs to be some cleanup that the responsibility of animal sheltering does fall within the purview of the sheriff, the way it's currently made up is right now. So I did say we do need to involve the sheriff in this meeting.
Brent, can we just, before we move on there, has the Village of Cuesta or other stakeholders around the county been invited to also join in?
I just invited the mayor of Cuesta this morning, and I invited the administrator for Cuesta. I know it's been on their bucket list of things because they also have an ordinance on the books, and I'm not going to speak for Cuesta, but I know they want to come to the table with sheltering, and it has to be a county-wide solution because Taos County does not have the funding to foot a bill for animal sheltering.
Um,
But
Are we invited to join you in that conversation?
no, because I would be posting a notice for
Okay.
quorum. I
Okay.
need to, then we'd have to have which one of the commissions going. I thought about that maybe the chair and vice chair should be invited too. So I mean, I'm open for discussion.
Yeah.
And,
Okay.
all right. All right. Next week, myself and Ms. Stern behind me and Ms. Aaron Beatty will be attending the Outdoor Economics Conference. And so we'll be leaving Monday afternoon. And there's probably time if anybody else wanted to still sign up. And then also have the county managers retreat at the end of the week. Miss Erin Beatty has been working with the Taos Balloon Rally folks. As you know, the field beat to the east of us has traditionally been used for the balloon rally. She's already obtained their insurance and has gotten their contract, or is in the process of getting their contract taken care of. And Miss Erin Beatty is also working on, similar to last year, I think there was about 3 of you that went last year, of doing our party for our senior citizens that we were able to sponsor last year. So she's already working with Native Winds on that as well. And so we're looking at December 20th, which is a Wednesday, for the senior citizens that attend our program. It'll be open to all senior citizens. Last year, we had a luncheon forum and we had a band and music forum as well. So we're looking to do the same thing again. So with that, I stand for any questions.
Thank you, Brent. Appreciate the very thorough update. Commissioners, I know we've peppered some of our questions in there while we've gone. Do we have any further questions or comments for our manager? All right, no, then seeing none, thank you very much, Brent. We'll move on to item 12B, which is our road maintenance update. And with this, we have Mr. Joe Fernandez, our interim Public Works Director. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. How are you doing today?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Good. I've got a list of projects that we're working on. First of all, we'll start off with Blueberry Hill. The first phase, the repaving, what we're waiting for right now is obviously the asphalt plant to reopen. Joey's been working out in Raton for quite a while, so we're patiently waiting for that to come back, as well as POs, line items, stuff to be able to get taken care of on those particular deals as well. Update for Rio Lucero, the patchwork has been completed. Same thing, we're waiting for asphalt to get the remainder of the overlay taken care of. West Camino, East Camino Abajo La Loma, both of those have been completed. Those are all taken care of and are waiting striping. Cuchilla Road as well for the chip seals, that has also been completed. Striping as well will be done here shortly. Plaza Road in Peñasco for the chip seal, that will wait until spring of 2024. That is a little late in the season, and the contractor's they're further south. They're waiting for a lot of other projects to get done out there. Skull Road as well up in Peñasco. Cuchilla Road in Peñasco, Rio Chiquito Road, also chip seal projects, those will have to wait until 2024 in the spring. But those have already gotten taken care of, so like I said, we're just gonna be waiting for them. State Road 570, crack seal, that will be hopefully now in the late fall. That will actually be mid-November. Contractor is giving that date. If they can't get out here any sooner, they will do so. That will be on State Road 570, which is C110 out by UNM. Camino del Medio, that will start from the city cutoff point, clear all the way down to 240. That will be taken care of as far as crack seal this fall. Los Cordovas Road, which encompasses District 1 and District 3, from C110, clear all the way to State Road 240. All of those will be taken care of as well as far as crack seal. Upper Ranchitos, that particular section, will be from 240 clear all the way to our cutoff, which is Calle Ezequiel. That will also take care of some crack seal as well. Striping of our roads, fall of 2023. We just got the POs this morning, so we called for scheduling, and hopefully that will be here really soon. I'll be making that call this afternoon to just try to get a definite date. Vegetation control, brush, trees, all districts are working on those for the upcoming season. Snow definitely starts putting a lot of pressure on all of our trees, starts pushing them onto the roadway, so we're trying to get all that taken care of prior to winter setting in. Pothole repair, all districts are working on those right now, trying to get all those taken care of. Blueberry Hill in its entirety is taking a lot of that because of the amount of traffic we're receiving on that road. So it's definitely taking a hit, and that is definitely getting treated pretty often. But all districts are now currently working on potholes and getting those taken care of prior to winter. Also with the grading of our roads, trying to get crowns taken care of, bar ditches cleaned out so that once it freezes, that road will maintain its shape and hopefully that integrity will stay. Primarily more so for drainage, just to get that water and that snow off of there. That way it can last throughout the season. Cleaning out our culverts, getting ready for all that water that's coming through, making sure that those are going to be cleaned out once it starts to thaw and get that water off the roadway. And then winter prep on our vehicles, trying to get all of our plows situated. Fleet is doing a great job on making sure that all of our stuff is ready for the upcoming season. And we're soon going to be tying into all of our spreaders, getting everything mounted, and getting our scoria in place. So Peñasco will start hauling this week. And then the remainder of that scoria is actually getting mixed right now. And salt to be transferred in from down south to our facility, which is going to be up in Cuesta, to go ahead and take that place in everybody's district to get its pile. So that's what we're currently working on. I have any questions?
That's a lot, Mr.
Yeah,
Fernandez. Thank
it
you very
is.
much. Any questions?
Madam Chair, I have one
Vice Chair Romero,
question.
yeah.
On Blueberry Hill, what is the timetable on that paving of that stretch from 60?
Right now, Mr. Perovich has indicated the 22nd or 23rd of this month, his crew should be back. He would indicate that if they are back sooner, that he would let me know.
So
But
that's imminent.
yeah, as far as the asphalt, that is what we're waiting for.
Thank you. Further questions?
Let me add on to Blueberry Hill Road. We're slightly changing the scope of work on it. So we're not going to put because of the timing, we're not going to put the concrete curbing that we had originally had planned on. That was going to go the length of the road. So that's not going to time out well for us. So with the existing monies, we're also seeing if maybe we can extend it a little farther, since we're not putting in that curbing as well.
Thank you, Brent. Appreciate that clarification. Other questions or comments from Mr. Fernandez about all of these road projects?
I just want to thank him because I've received a lot of phone calls and thank yous for the work that has been done in District 3. And I think we only got one negative, which is really odd, but someone liked the potholes, I guess. Nonetheless, I just want to share that with you because certainly we commissioners aren't the ones getting the work done. You all are doing it, and we just appreciate everything the team does.
I'm sorry, I'd like to extend that thank you to all of the crew that we've got. The support I have in the office. Deborah definitely pushes a lot of that paperwork through and allows the crews to get that job done. So that I appreciate.
And we appreciate all of that work, all of the work the crews are doing and our fleet to keep you guys out there on the road. We appreciate all of the hard work, even though sometimes the potholes serve as natural speed bumps.
Right.
Thank you so much. Any other questions for Mr. Fernandez?
I have a comment.
Yeah, Miguel.
Mr. Fernandez, good morning, and thanks for the work you do.
Sir.
With all the roads you were saying getting chip sealed and worked on, District 2, are the road department doing that good of a job that they don't have any of their
Well, they
roads?
have, we had one scheduled for this year, which was going to be a chip seal for Post Office Road. There was a discrepancy on the length of that road that encompasses a little bit outside the shoulder of the state road that goes through there. And rather than only doing a portion of that road, we still need to be able to work on including the shoulder that ties into Cerro, which is sort of frustrating because that was one of them that was on that list to be able to get done.
And that
But
was the road that I'm.
Yes.
And I'm just kidding with you about not, they're doing a good job.
Right, and they are.
It's a lot of work for them, that I do
Absolutely.
know.
Absolutely.
And people complain a lot. They call and I throw it at Brent and tell them to
Right.
handle that. But no, your road department supervisors and your workers, they stay busy.
Absolutely.
But there's
Absolutely.
always, people are never happy. So
Well,
you
and
can
we
do the
sh-
best job and they're still
And we
going to.
strive to do better. Like I said, there's a lot of things that we definitely encompass out there.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments? No, then you're free. Thank you so much for being
Thank you
here and
very
for
much for your
all the
time.
work. Appreciate it. This takes us to item 12C, our fire and EMS first quarter update. We have our county fire chief, Mr. Mike Cordova, back with us. Thank you, chief.
Hi, again. So, I'm just gonna go through July through September. There's manila envelopes for you all there. I just didn't get it into your packet in time. We'll just kind of run through it, and my report's a little bit different because I'm gonna break it up to EMS, volunteer fire, and then the combined staff and MUI stuff. So it'll be a little bit long, just bear with me. So regular 911 calls from July through September, we've ran 1,042 calls with really just the 2 trucks running 24/7. Transfers out of Holy Cross to the airport have been 116. The majority of those are going to be mental health transfers that get flown out. We still don't have the capability and probably won't have the capability to do any other interfacility transfers to help Holy Cross out for the foreseeable future. We are a designated 911 service, so we got to ensure that we have coverage here first. I just wanted to throw that out there. Our billing numbers from July through September. So we've billed out $313,621.22. We've collected $282,376.50. We have a Medicaid past due balance, which is $26,780.54, and they're always usually behind about 3-4 months. That's just kind of how their system works, to be honest with you. If we were to include that with what we actually collected, if that was to get paid, we'd be at $309,157.04 of the money coming back from the original $311,000, which honestly would be unheard of. My office staff, I have to say, they do a tremendous job, and they're constantly trying to progress and making sure we're following all the new laws coming in, stuff like that. They are short-staffed. We had one staff member go out on maternity leave. Beautiful baby girl she had. So mama and baby are healthy. She'll come back hopefully in December, I think is when she's coming back. But it's just the 2 ladies in the office, and it's been a little rough for them. They're staying above water, to be honest with you, and they're doing really well. Myself, the EMS chief, and the fire marshal now have filing duties and report printout duties and stuff, so we're trying to help them out as well. We do the best we can. Last week, our billing clerk was out, or our billing tech, and she came back and she was like, I don't know if you guys know how to follow directions or not, but she's like, you guys did decent. So we were pretty proud with decent, to be honest with you. They're doing a good job. They really are, but they're really not taking lunches. They're kind of working straight through. Hopefully an incentive for them would be good. I did request a pay increase just for the time being. We'll see where that goes, but they're doing a really good job is my point, and they're keeping us above water. The crews are doing great with their report writing, so that helps us out too. What else do we have for you? Oh, we did get the GRT grant or GRT money in, and Brent, correct me if my number is wrong, but I think we received $104,358.12. Is that correct? Yeah, on top of our billing, so it's been good for us, and that 104,000 is what us as Taos County received. That's the month of July, right, or August?
In the month of September, it got received, so this would be July's money.
So that really helped us out with payroll, obviously, which is good because our billing numbers now we can kind of balance out and figure out where we're doing good and what we can improve on. The other thing is if we continue to get that amount, I mean, it's a GRT, so it's going to go up and down for sure. But if we were to stay with just that one number, we would receive about 1.2 million. And obviously the other entities would receive more, right, than what was forecasted, but time will tell. That's just number one of many. So I will say thank you to you all for pushing that and all the voters that helped push that. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. When do they get their portion? So when we get that large
So
check?
they get their portion the same time, right? They're
Oh,
probably about a week
individually.
behind. Yep,
So we don't have
individual.
to send it over, they get it
No,
automatically.
We do send it.
No, the treasurer's office is taking care
Care
of
of that.
that.
Okay.
So remember, we passed a resolution that I think
Right.
Mr. Trujillo's the one that drafted.
Right.
And so the treasurer's office is sending
Okay,
that
managing,
directly out.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So that 104 is just our portion.
Correct.
Very good.
Yeah. And
Okay.
everybody, all the other entities got their
theirs.
portion.
Thank you.
Yeah. And they are grateful. So I will say
Yeah.
that I did receive a lot of texts and phone calls. So it's helping everybody out. So as of today, I believe we are fully staffed finally, which hasn't happened in quite some time, to be honest with you. But I will say the comp study helped out. So thank you for that. Appreciate all you guys and HR for that. So we will hopefully transition into the 48-hour shift in July. Obviously, we have some retirement stuff to work out with Para, which I think me and Brent actually are on top of that, to be honest with you. There were some questions there with Para, but we got it figured out for the most part. The crews are excited. They can't wait. 90% of our full-time staff does have their bunker gear already in. They finished the majority of their trainings, and later on down the report, you'll see my training schedule for them. We did have to do a bar though on the EMS side for our casual employees, just because we weren't fully staffed at the time. So we moved some money in there, and we should be okay now for the remainder of the year because we are fully staffed. We did have a staff meeting, and we did let our casuals know, hey, you might not get as many open shifts now, just because we are fully staffed. But they have till basically July, hopefully, to still keep working, and hopefully we can still pull some over to the full-time slots. So we'll see how that goes. The only thing with the pay is that the intermediates and the medics are still waiting for their pay adders. So it's additional for their licensure. I did contact HR. I guess Gina's waiting for a phone call or a conversation with the HR consultant that she's been working with to kind of see where that wording is going to land, whether it's in the job description or if they're going to put it kind of in a different policy in regards to pay. So that's the only thing we're waiting for. I did let the crews know of that. I kind of get asked that a lot, and I just tell them, gotta be patient, just we'll get there.
May I ask a question?
Commissioner Vehil.
Will it be retroactive in regards to, as we take time to figure out thoughtfully where we're gonna?
We haven't even
Talked about it, okay. Yeah, okay. Just wondering, just because I know folks it's important to them.
Yeah, but they are very grateful for what they got. I mean, I had one, I think that got a $10 raise, to be honest with you, with the comp studies. So they're very grateful. I can't say they're not. But we'll get everything figured out. So they're very patient because they also know it takes time, right? Volunteer side, they've been steady. They've had about 301 calls for the first 3 months. And a lot of the majority of that, to be honest with you, is wildland calls, smoke calls, and a few structure fires, to be honest. So my districts are busy, but they're doing a really good job, to be honest with you. Here in the future, we're probably going to have to merge some volunteer fire districts together just because the numbers are low. So I went to the state, we talked to them about it. I have one district that's a little hesitant, but I sat down with Chief and we kind of figured that out. And I think he's okay because I said, we'll take the paperwork aspect out from you. And he's like, oh, okay. So we'll see how that goes, but we'll probably merge Costilla and Amalia, Letir and Cerro, San Cristobal de Lama, and then this west side is going to be all 3 districts into one. And then there's some districts I can't merge, so they'll stay on their own districts. So that'll be coming down the pike, but probably in about a year or so. We'll see how it goes. Who else? Fire districts did receive some grant money this year, and you'll see that highlighted in your packet. So Willard Peak received $400,000 for building their new fire station. Latier Fire received $300,000 for a new wildland truck. Costilla Fire received 400,000 for their new construction of their building, and us as the admin, we received another 300,000 to complete the project we started last year, which was outfitting all our fire districts with new SCBA's. SCBA's have changed their specs and a couple other things, so we're trying to get everybody up and running with the new ones, with the new packs, which each pack is about $7,000 to $8,000 a pack. So all the districts should be outfitted with new SCBA's, and I sat down with James and I told him I don't want them to spend their money on SCBA's when we can do a countywide project. So this is year 2 that we got it, and I believe we're done with that one. So all the districts will be better prepared with that. Since I started, I believe now we've received a little over $6.1 million in Fire Protection Fund grants for the various fire districts, which has helped us out a lot, to be honest with you. That grant helps out a lot of districts within the state. I believe this year we awarded, I want to say $34 million worth of projects to fire departments around the state. So that fund is a good fund to have, and I'm glad to be a part of that grant council, to be honest with you. We do have building plans and drawings in place for Costilla, Willow Peak, and Carson. Carson's just an addition, but we're going to go out to bid for these projects just because numbers are sky high. We're getting numbers for Carson for just an addition of 1 bay, a bathroom, an office, and a small training room, $700,000 to $800,000, which is just beyond me. And we have $400,000 to spend, so we're gonna have to take out a loan on that. So we're gonna go out for bid with these projects and see where we go. My county chiefs, for the first time, received a stipend in the amount of $1,900. That was through the state as well. So each chief got $1,900. And I told them they can use that however they see fit. One chief is just going to put it back in the department to fix a bathroom or something, he said, and the others are going to divvy it up. So they were grateful for that. And hopefully we can now include our volunteers with the current fire excise tax that we have that's already in place. We got to see, though, how we can do that if it has to go back out to the voters, which I believe it will, to change the wording on it, because the wording now is just for operational purposes, and I would like to amend it to include stipends for our volunteers. I already have a policy out, and the chiefs, so far, they're willing to do it. So I have to take a final vote, and then it'll come back to you all for discussion. But if we can do that, then we can start paying stipends to our volunteers as well, which would be huge, to be honest with you. We had 4 districts that improved their ISO ratings. Ojo Caliente went from a 9 to a 6. Carson went from a 9 to a 6. Latier went from a 9 to a 4, which is unheard of. I got to give Jonah props on that, right? She did really well. Costilla went from a 7 to a 5. And then because our districts dropped, my office went from an 8 to a 7. So basically what all that is more money for our districts and lower insurance rates for people living in those districts. I have a couple districts that'll be upcoming for ISO ratings. That'll be further on down the year. The Village of Cuesta maintained their 5, and also Hondo Seco had theirs, and they maintained their 6. So we're not retroing, which is good. We did see a few in the state retro, which is not what we want to do. So my districts are doing very well, I have to say. I got to give those chiefs and those volunteers a lot of credit for what they're doing. Enchanted Circle Mini Academy, we had 24 graduate. Hopefully we keep them all. We'll see. Usually we get about half right next year, so we'll see how that goes. But it was a good year. It's a good place for our senior firefighters and stuff to start teaching and getting more involved in the leadership aspect of firefighting. We had a lot of special guests for sure this year, which was great, to be honest with you. And I think we're going to have hopefully some good help down in Santa Fe for a couple bills. So we'll see how that goes. Brent, you have anything to add?
And speaking of the special guests, Chief Cordova did invite Representative Ortiz, Senator Gonzalez, Rito Conover, Senator Heinrich's office. Senator Gonzalez was pretty impressed and wants to figure out a way to support the volunteer fire department aspect of it. And then he also wants to recognize the Enchanted Circle Fire Association for their team effort. And then he was also in team efforts at the Academy, and he was also impressed that this was not done with any state funding. And his comment to us that day is he wishes the governor could see what these guys are putting on. And it's all volunteers. There is a little bit of a stipend and a cost associated with it. It goes back into the infrastructure of the facility, but he was impressed that a lot of this was just each department doing something on their own or getting the structures in place so they could do the training.
Yeah, so lastly, sorry guys, this is a long report for just 3 months. I know, but we've been busy. So the paid staff, in your packet, you'll see their Fire 1 and Fire 2 schedule. We're starting in November and we will finish, I believe, late December. So they'll be certified Firefighter 1 and Firefighter 2. Closer to July, we'll do a badging ceremony and get everybody badged in and stuff like that. Because we'll have a couple that won't hit this first class with us. They'll have to go later. Just because they came in late to the ball game, so we're trying to get them caught up. With that, that's what officially gets us into that fire retirement, hopefully, and we can move forward with that. We have a couple sets of gear we need to buy. We're trying to figure out where we're going to get that money from, but I think we'll figure that one out pretty quick. So what's going to happen is we're going to take half of our paid staff Monday through Wednesday to do their burns, and then the rest of the week will be the latter part of the staff. That way we don't have any coverage issues with EMS. So we're trying to do it pretty meticulously to where we don't have any fault in coverage at all, which I think we figured that schedule out. So we'll see how that goes. It'll be fun for them. We're going to do the majority of the hands-on training here, though, and at the mini academy grounds. That way there's not a lot of back and forth to Socorro. We'll just be down there for 1 week, and then we'll finish our written test up here. The crews are excited. They finally finished their last hazmat class yesterday, and everybody passed, so it's a good thing for sure. Other than that, just some stuff. The recruitment and retention fund, we had a meeting last month in Red River about that, and Enchanted Circle Fire will be a heavy key role player in that. And what that's going to do is help the volunteers with the stipends. Somehow we still don't know exactly how we're going to do it, but it'll help also for paid staff. So like us, if we're a combination volunteer paid department, what that's going to do is give us money to have as many people as we need, and they'll fund it for 4 years. But after the 4th year, obviously, we, the county, are going to have to figure out where we're going to come up with money to keep those people. So it'll be funded 100% for 2 years, and then 50% the 3rd year, and then 25% the 4th, I believe is the preliminary numbers. We still don't know exactly the numbers, and I believe they're asking for 50 million. The number went up, so I think it's 50 million now that they're asking for, which still isn't going to be enough, but we got to start somewhere. So I do like that. In regards to EMS, like Brent said, there's some bills coming out that are going to help us tremendously. Our county EMS only gets $15,000 from the state to run. Cuesta gets about 7,000. Some of my districts get 5,000. And backwards, right? 90% of our calls are EMS. So we'll see where that goes, but they are drastically underfunded, and it's just not fair. So we're trying to tie in some loose ends on the fire side to help EMS out at the state level too. So it's a good partnership. We'll get there. It's just going to take time. The other thing that we really do need, though, on the fire and EMS side at the state side is a back to work bill like law enforcement had. Because if we could do that, I think we'd be getting more people to come and work, to be honest with you. I think that's hindering us big time at the state level.
And if I may add?
Yeah.
So that has been part of the conversation as well. And so I think there's going to be push on this year at the legislature.
Yeah,
From New Mexico counties?
In New Mexico counties,
okay.
yes.
Thank you. A couple of shout outs. We've past 3 or 4 years, we've had some volunteer chiefs or members be unsung heroes, and I think you just got to recognize them, right? We had Mr. Johnny from Penasco a few years ago. God rest his soul. We miss him dearly every day, but we had Russ Driscoll from Rio Fernando, and now this year we had Chief Olson. So, I like that the public's finally recognizing what they're doing and what they've done for a long time for this county without pay. So kudos to them. That's really awesome. Now, last week and a couple weeks ago, we did cover Taos Fire for reasons that are out of anybody's hands. But I want to thank Penasco Fire. Chief Saad lent us their truck one of their structure trucks to staff it. Public Works, I stole an employee from him for, I think, 48 hours. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I tell you what, I had those two brothers with me and it was a fun 24 hours. I tell you what. But everybody did good. I just want to thank everybody who helped us out during that time. And, it's a tragic thing, but we helped Taos Fire out and they appreciated it. And that's what we're here for, is to help each other out. So it worked out very well. The only last thing I have is, or two things, is our admin staff is going to start trying to look for another building to move out of, just because we're going to run out of space when we transition to the 48s. So myself and Dave's office will be bedrooms, and then we'll move the crew quarters back to where the office is, just because we don't have room, or we won't have room. So we've been working with Brent and Jason for a while, trying to figure out something. So we'll get there, but we do got to move out of there pretty quick. And then the last thing is just a big thanks to you guys, to finance, to public works, to fleet, to everybody that helps us out. I mean, we're still the baby department of the county. We're still new, and everybody's been pretty supportive, and fleet's done a great job in helping us save money with mechanics and getting stuff in and out. So it's a big team effort on the county side that's supporting this department moving forward. So it's not just myself or James or the crews, it's everybody that's been pushing us forward, along with the citizens who obviously approved the tax. And I'm grateful for them, grateful for you, and grateful for my crews sticking it in and sticking it out. And we're making changes. It's a little bit slow, but we are moving forward, and the crews see that, and they're excited, and I'm excited. It's a new territory for us, and we'll be back hopefully at the next meeting to change our name from Fire and EMS to Fire and Rescue. So, because rescue encompasses a whole lot more, which includes EMS, but we'll do that here at a later date. But thank you all. I appreciate it. And if you have any questions, let me know.
Thank you so much, Chief. A couple of specific things. Thank you for covering for the town of Taos. I
Sure.
know that was necessary and helpful in a tough moment. And I'm glad that you mentioned the chiefs who have been unsung heroes. Our latest one, Chief Donna Olson, like, these people are heroes, legitimately heroes. So I'm glad you mentioned that. I've never thought of your department as the baby department. And
still new.
maybe that's because, everything you brought to us today reflects such collaboration and such vision. And I just wanted to commend you and all of the teammates, our paid staff and our volunteers, for the vision that you bring to, like, you have legitimately brought this function forward in the county, and you're evolving it to meet our evolving needs. And that is tremendously appreciated.
Well,
So thank you. Questions or comments for our chief?
I just want to echo
Commissioner
what Commissioner Brush, Chair Brush has stated. I remember the day when you were talking to us about this thought. And, it took a little bit of time to really wrap our heads around it. But clearly it is certainly headed in the right direction. Really impressed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for all that you guys do.
Commissioner Romero?
Yes, thank you for your services. And it was only 48 hours you had with them two loonies. I live with them.
After the 48, I did tell the older one, when do you go home? That was a good time, and no bad grades. Tell him he got an A for that one. Yeah.
Thank you, Miguel. Vice Chair Romero?
Yes, Mike, on the issue of transporting patients out of the county, I know that you mentioned that the county does not have the capability, but there were discussions a couple months ago with the hospital that the hospital was looking for space, and I thought maybe we might be able to assist. So and then I also know that we did approve the purchase of a new ambulance last meeting, and it's still an issue out there with the community. I'm sure of. Do get questions on that. So the question is there a long-term plan that the county might be able to get the capacity to do this, or do we tell the hospital they're on their own?
So as of right now, and this is not going to be a popular answer right now, we've told the hospital, we will help you. We'll give you an ambulance if you need one. We have one sitting outside that way that they don't have to incur the cost of that. But right now, because we're short-staffed, it's kind of a them problem, and I don't mean to be rude or disrespectful at all, but right now we just don't have the staff. And even if we do go fully staffed, I'm going to lead into this with, we're going to place EMS and fire staff in Penasco first, because that's the southern area that just does not get coverage, and it takes a while for us to get there. So I've talked to Chief Saad. He's going to let us attach a crew quarters to the Chamizal station, so we have coverage there 24/7, and they'll be doing both fire and EMS. And the way we did that is myself and the EMS chief, Dave, we applied for a grant through Senate Bill 7, which is the extending the services for medical services. So we asked for 6.2 million, I believe, and it would be like 2.2 million a year to help fund that area. So even if we do move over, I still got to focus on the 911 system first, and then Holy Cross would come later. And I'm hoping, not to say no completely, but for the time being, in the foreseeable future, about 3-4 years, we just don't have the capability right now for it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Commissioner Vehil.
Yes, on that ambulance that you referred to that's sitting there that they could use, we don't need that ambulance. Is it something that's maybe not equipped to?
So that's
handle
actually a good
today's-
rig. What we do is rotate our units out. So it's on its past life for EMS calls, if you will, but
Got
it
it.
runs well. We've maintained it very well. They're actually sitting outside.
So for
'Cause we
transport, it
don't have
would,
room.
it would be, okay.
Yeah, and I believe our EMS chief did offer that to Holy Cross, and I don't know how they responded to that.
So could we possibly have a conversation, Brett, with
I
them
mentioned it to them as well. I don't think they have the funding
to hire the
to
person?
hire either.
Mhm.
Because both Mr. Varela, Mr. Cordova have met with Mr. Kaiser, and we've gone over this. One of the board members was there, Carl
Mhm.
Gilmore, and so they met with Carl twice, probably.
Yes.
And still don't have the things, but they don't have the funding either to pay it.
Got it, okay.
I did offer some suggestions, though. Maybe they can contract with Taos Ski Valley because they're trying to get up and running their EMS service, and also maybe Eagle Nest or Angel
Mhm.
Fire, like reach out to other entities too.
Right.
Red River's the same with us. They can't do it. They're understaffed. Quest are the same, but there's a couple other areas that maybe they could ask for help. So we'll see what goes on there.
Okay.
I'm not going to touch this. You guys have my fire marshal's report in your packet. If you want to just read it, if you have any questions, let me know later. But he's been doing the best he can with what he's got. But we'll be moving forward with the new fire code and the amending of the burn permit. So that'll come here at a later date. I think that's all I have.
Thank you so
all.
much, Chief. I have one request for, this is an amazing quarterly report, and I'm looking forward to the next one. Would it be possible next time when you have the numbers at the top to kind of show them over time, either year over year or the last quarter versus this quarter? Because looking at these, I'm clueless. I don't know, is 116, are we up, are we down, or, number
We're
of
about
calls?
right where we need to be, but yes.
Okay, yeah,
absolutely.
just to give us a little bit of a framework
Yeah.
to know what that number
Yep.
reflects. Is it, what kind of trend is it?
Okay.
Is it good? Is it up, down?
So I'll
thank
give you a quick answer on that one. It's good because we budgeted $985,000 in intake fees. And if we keep going the rate we're going, we're going to actually get 1.1 or 1.2 million. So we'll be over what we expected that we would bring in.
Okay. Thank you. Anything else for our chief? No. Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Keep up the outstanding work.
Appreciate it.
This takes us today to agenda item 13, Commissioners' Reports and Matters. 13A is new business to be considered at a future commission meeting. Commissioners, does anyone have something for a future commissioner meeting? I'll throw one thing out there for you, Brent. It might be interesting to have maybe the Taos Community Foundation come and talk about the results of or the impact of the ARPA grants that we put out into the community.
We're planning for that. Actually, I wanted them to come a couple of months ago, and
Okay.
for whatever reason, they couldn't come at the time.
Okay, thank you. So
So-
maybe late
Yeah, so-
November, early December, or something like that.
Tanner does have that on his radar.
Thank you so much. That's all I had. Anything else for a future commission meeting? No? Okay.
I have one more thing that even though it was on my notes, I handed out the short-term rental ordinance. Please start reviewing that. We're not able to do a retreat on the 23rd. I was wondering of October 30th. October 31st. I want to keep it consistent with the Tuesdays. And to do a retreat, so it gives you approximately 2 weeks from today to review it. Patrick will come in his favorite Halloween mask.
I'm gonna come as Brent.
I knew you were going to say that.
Does anybody have it, does that
Is this a
probably,
change from the 24th?
yeah.
Yes,
So to the 31st.
because I didn't realize that I was going to be gone a week from today. So if we could push it back to the 31st. It gives you guys 2
Does that
weeks
work
to read it. It gives me 2 weeks. Chris, that's Jessica. Patrick's already read it. Andy's already read it.
Okay. It seems like that'll work, so we'll put that on the calendar.
And
October 31st, 9 a.m.?
9 a.m. And I gave you guys the clean version. I have both versions without Patrick's comments. If anybody wants Patrick's comments and red line version, I'll be happy to provide that. But I just gave you guys the clean version.
Okay, thank you. Noted. Anything else, Brent?
No.
Okay, then let's go on to item 13B, which is commissioners' announcements. I'll start out with one. At our next meeting, November 7th, I will be out of town for family health obligations.
November 5th.
November 7th, I believe it is, yep, November 7th. I will still be attending, but I'll be doing that online. So the in-person running of the meeting will be turning over to Vice Chair Romero for that meeting. So, and thank you, Vice Chair, for being willing to do that because it's going to be hard. If you're the only face on the screen, I think it's kind of hard to run a meeting. Any other announcements, folks?
Yes.
Commissioner Beal.
So the 24th Annual Congreso de las Acequias is on November 17th and 18th at the Sagebrush. So I just, you have to register. So I just want to make sure that that's out. I know that we received that information via email as well as it's been already out. So just want to let you guys know that it's happening.
Thank you. Any other announcements? Commissioner Mascareñas.
Just SPOT is hosting a community members resource fair on October 20th at the elementary school in Peñasco from 1:30 to 4:30. So if anybody's interested or needs the resources.
It's on Friday?
Yeah.
It's Friday. Okay, thank you.
And I did ask our HCAP director and our DWR director to set up 2 separate tables for where the county can be represented.
Thank you. Thank you. And Commissioner Beal?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought you were raising your hand. Okay, I think that's announcements. So it takes us to 13C, which is our board or committee reports. And we just have one that was reported in to be on the agenda today, New Mexico Association of Counties.
I will make this really short and sweet. At least that's my hope. So I just passed out some information, but before we go into that, I wanted to just kind of give you a recap of the Board of Directors meeting, New Mexico County's Board of Directors meeting in Socorro that took place on Friday, September 29th. And I have to tell you, these meetings are never boring. Two presentations that were very, very interesting. One was the New Mexico Drug Trafficking Insights. We had Rob Drager. He is the, tell you what his title is. He is the High Intensity Drug Trafficking Investigator. And so he did a presentation. And I'm sorry that you don't have it in your packet there, but there's some really interesting information in regards to Taos County and where we stand in that map and what it looks like, and I'll share that briefly in just a minute. But we also had the Border Patrol Customs, Salvador Guerro, and he's the acting director, come on in to discuss some of the concerns and just kind of share what's happening at the border. But going back to the drug trafficking insights, it looks like, and I guess I didn't know this, maybe Brent probably does, but Taos County does in fact fall under the, we are designated as the HIDTA as one of the counties, which is just basically says that Taos County, unfortunately, there's high intensity drug trafficking happening within Taos County. You're welcome to look at this map, but Taos County is definitely, it's unfortunate, but since 2018, We apparently applied. This would have been done through the Sheriff's Department, I believe. And if you can shed some more light, if you have any other information, this is the first I've heard of it.
Yeah, no, we've routinely participated in the HIDA grant process, and
Thank you.
they call it HIDA for short. So we do participate in that as well. So
Right, and I know other counties wanted to participate, but apparently it's pretty tough to get into that designation. And so 17 out of the 33 are currently in that HIDA.
And how to find high-speed drug trafficking?
Yes, and what it does is obviously you get some additional services and so I think we'd have to bring in our sheriff to really find out what how we're benefiting, and there's some funding that goes to him in regards to that. Just wanted to bring it to our attention. Also, they went over some overdose deaths, and you can see the fatal overdoses over the period of time from 2018 to 2023. If you're really interested, I'm so sorry I didn't make copies only because it's a lot of ink, as you can see, but I will be more than happy to pass this along. They talked about fentanyl seizures and what overdose deaths and what kind of drugs are out there and what they're seeing in regards to from year to year, the changes of what people really like out there. Like, for example, fentanyl is very high. We all know that. They talked about some of the seizures that they've gone through at the border, as well as just some other as they're trying to clean up the counties. I'm going to kind of switch over to what you have in your possession, which is the 2019 through 2023 county annual GRT distribution. The reason why I gave you all copies of this is because it shows each and every county and the GRTs that flows through. Page 133 is Taos County's total food deduction, medical. It basically gives a breakdown. I thought you might find that interesting. I certainly did. You can see the money that flows through in regards to that GRT. And you'll also find a one sheet where it's county GRT enactment rate table. And once again, it's all counties. And I thought this was also interesting so you can see in comparison to other counties where we stand. We're I think, one of the highest in GRTs right now. Also included in the packet is payment in lieu of taxes, PILT, as we refer to as PILT monies. Also, there's a breakdown by county, and there's a 3-year comparison, and you can see where we've increased our PILT monies, and I spoke a little bit about this in a prior update in regards to trying to secure funding for PILT ongoing, and it's, every year we have to go back to Washington to ask for this money to continue forward, and so they're trying to figure out a mechanism in which to just have it be permanent. And so you'll also find a page in there that shows PILT total acres and payments per acre for 2023. What's really interesting on this particular page is that each acre is different by county. And I don't know yet, and I'm certainly going to look into it, why Taos County gets 36 cents per acre. As you, just in summary, PILT is money that's given to us for payment in lieu of taxes for public lands for Carson National Forest, BLM properties, properties such as that. And so we're getting 36 cents where, for example, Socorro County is getting 97 cents. So there is a variation there, and I'm not sure how that is determined, but we'll certainly ask those questions. Forest Reserve are, SRS payments in New Mexico, also by county. These are all just very interesting data. I thought you would all find, interesting to see in comparison to other counties. Last one is LATCF, which is the Local Assistance and Tribal Consistency. There's a little overview and history on that, but Generally, it was to serve, it's a general revenue enhancement program. And you can see that Taos County, and Brent has certainly kept us up to date on this. Total that was received on that was over 6 million for Taos County. Once again, in comparison, you can see the other counties are getting different amounts. Basically, that we're gearing for the legislative conference, and I would only ask that you take a look at that resolution and make sure that you're very comfortable with it. It was put together, as I've indicated in the past, it's a priority list, and that's what made it to the top. And so if, with that being said, I stand for questions.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Vehil. Really interesting data that you've shared with us, and appreciate your service on that board, because I know it's probably more of a time commitment than many of our boards. So, Commissioners, any questions for Commissioner Vehil?
Great.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you very much. Moving on to agenda item 14, Taos County Board of Commissioners may convene in closed session. 14A today is discussion regarding a potential purchase of property. This matter may also be discussed in executive session under Open Meetings Act exemption 10-15-1H8, which allows for discussion of the purchase, acquisition, or disposal of real property or water rights by the public body. Commissioners, is there a motion to go into executive session?
Motion to go into executive session.
Okay, and I will go ahead and second that. Madam Clerk, if you could please call for the vote.
Commissioner Romero? Commissioner Vehil?
Yes.
Commissioner Mascareñas?
Yes.
Vice Chair Romero?
Yes.
Chair Brush?
Yes. Okay, for anybody watching or waiting, watching and or waiting, we should be back in maybe 20, 30 minutes. We'll see. But we'll be back to close out our meeting shortly. Thank you. It's a nice thing to do.
Oh, yeah.
Bench Street Deli,
Yeah.
good place.
And he's more consistently open than John.
Yeah.
This is true. This is true.
My husband said we should open a restaurant and only be open on Mondays.
You'd be the only one, because everybody else is closed.
We're at here about 5 minutes. I'll talk to you.
Ms. Nisa, are we ready? Thank you. Madam Clerk, we're ready. Mr. Trujillo, are we ready? Okay, folks, I would entertain a motion to come back into regular session for the Taos County Board of County Commissioners regular meeting. Motion. Thank you so much. And we have a second. Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Commissioner Romero,
Yes.
Commissioner Vehil,
Yes.
Commissioner Mascareñas,
Yes.
Vice Chair Romero,
Yes.
Chair Brush.
Yes, thank you very much. 15A, the Taos County Board of Commissioners may convene again in open session. I will turn over this item first to our attorney, Mr. Patrick Trujillo.
Good morning, Madam Chair. This is my report from the closed session. We only discussed those matters that were listed in the agenda, and no final vote was taken, although I believe the next agenda item is dealing with the same topic.
It is, item 15A is discussion, consideration, and decision regarding a potential purchase of property. Commissioners, what are your wishes?
Chair, did you want to take a motion on his report?
Motion to accept the attorney's report?
I'll second.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. Please call for the vote. We've got a motion and a second.
Commissioner Romero,
Yes.
Commissioner Vehil,
Yes.
Commissioner Mascareñas.
Yes.
Vice Chair Romero,
Yes.
Chair Brush.
Thank you, yes. Thank you. Okay, now 15A, discussion. Since we've approved and accepted our attorney's report, now we'll move on to 15A, which is the discussion, consideration, decision regarding a potential purchase of property. Commissioners, what are your wishes today? Commissioner Romero.
I'd like to make a motion to authorize the county manager to pursue the purchase of 226 Cruz Alta, commonly known as the old BLM building.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Commissioner Mascareñas. Madam Clerk, could you please call the vote?
Commissioner Romero,
Yes.
Commissioner Vehil,
Yes.
Commissioner Mascareñas.
Yes.
Vice Chair Romero,
Yes.
Chair Brush.
Yes. Our motion to direct the county manager to pursue this has been approved. Thank you very much. This takes us to the end of our meeting today. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Thank you, Miguel. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Everybody in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Our meeting is adjourned today at 11:19 a.m. on Tuesday, October 17th, 2023. Thank you, everybody.